On to the co-main event, a lightweight bout here between Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush. Dariush coming in at minus 135 as the favorite. Charles coming in as the dog at plus 135. Over under 2.5 rounds, plus 165 for the over, minus 165 for the under. Beneil Dariush been on quite the winning streak. We all know Charles Oliveira lost in the title match to Islam Makhachev, and he's coming in here after breaking that big or that long winning streak that he had. It's coming in as the dog, and he was a dog against Islam Makhachev. So he lost as a dog in his last time out. Beneil Dariush was the dog his last time out, and he cashed. Now getting the favorite role. I just got to make this clear to everybody. I'm a huge Charles fan, and I've been a huge Charles fan. I bet on him against Islam Makhachev. And I kind of realized that, my emotions played a very heavy factor in that one. So this week, most likely, I'm just going to be enjoying the fight. I might throw a little bit on Charles to have some fun in it, but I don't know that I can confidently give out like a good bet on this fight because my emotions are so into it. But I do think we may need to realize the level of competition that the two men have been going up against. I know Beneil Dariush has had a good winning streak, but I have to say, I mean, since 2021, his wins are Diego Ferreira by split, Tony Ferguson by unanimous decision, and then Mateusz Gamrot by unanimous decision. No, those they're not bad fighters by any means. They're solid fighters, especially at the time. But it doesn't compare at all to like what Charles has been going up against in the same realm. And I almost wonder if, since 2021, it's Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and then Islam Makhachev. And he did Chandler, Poirier, and Gaethje all in the span of 12 months. And then he had to fight not even or a little over 5 months after that again. So I'm like, did he just get burnt out or what? Like, I don't know if that's the problem, because he's as talented as they come, and he's had his ups and downs. And maybe it's just the factor that Islam was better. And I think Beneil Dariush presents a lot of those same problems that Islam would, maybe not to the same degree, but yeah, I don't know if it's a great matchup for Charles, but at the same time, I'm like, this guy is so high level. He can finish the fight in a split second. Beneil Dariush hasn't been fighting those guys over the past, 2 years. So I question that a little bit. But then I also saw a stat that Charles Oliveira is like 0-4 in Canada. So that was not a good stat to look at. But yeah, this week I'm most likely just going to enjoy being a Charles fan and hoping he wins. And I'll probably throw some money on him just to, have a little bit more in it. And it's plus money. So I'm, getting a little value there. So what do you think?
I'm going to start this off by saying, I know you're on Charles, or that's one of your favorite fighters. I'm on Dariush here. So let's make a bet right now. We're going to UFC 290, July 8th. The loser has to buy the first dinner when we get there.
Sure.
All right. Are you not confident enough to bet that?
I don't know. I'll be like really pissed at the dinner. That's the problem. Yeah. All right. If Charles lost, then I got to eat.
Then it's McDonald's.
Yeah.
No, but the fun thing about this one is that you can make a case for either guy on both sides. Like if you really break everything down, there are things on both sides that each fighter could have an advantage over the other. And with Charles Oliveira, you touched on it, the strength of schedule to beat Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier back to back, finishing all of them. I mean, those three guys are some, of the top guys in the lightweight division, but some of the toughest and some of the guys who hit the hardest too. When you look at Gaethje and Chandler, Charles Oliveira was able to weather the storm and come back stronger and finish those fights, which is super impressive. And then you beat Poirier by submission. And, Dustin Poirier is a guy who's been in this game forever. He has wins over the biggest names. And so that's a massive win as well. Charles, man, on the ground, submits dudes. On the feet, he drops people. I mean, dropping Gaethje like that, nobody really drops Gaethje. Everybody hits him, but nobody, drops him in that fashion. So it's super impressive what Charles can do. And then Dariush, 8-fight win streak. Um, every single fight, I feel like we see something new with Dariush, or we see another level of his game. Like he's constantly improving. Because before this 8-fight win streak, he was 0-3, or he'd lost 3 in a row in the UFC, and then he beats Thiago Moises, Drew Dober, and then goes on this little run. But man, what really, really sticks out to me on Dariush's side is not just that he could probably match the grappling of Charles, but how strong he is in that grappling department, like physically strong. You know, we saw Gamrot, who's a damn good wrestler, gets a bunch of takedowns, and Dariush was just rolling with everything and getting better position. And ultimately, won that fight pretty handily on the judges' scorecards. On the feet, I kind of give the technical and slight advantage to Charles here. Like Dariush almost looks uncomfortable at times on the feet, or a little bit slower. Like he's almost got like these big slugging shots. He's not like quick and like a traditional boxing style. So I think honestly, if the fight goes to the ground, that strength in Dariush, his top game, is going to match Charles, or maybe be a little bit better. But on the feet, man, I think Charles can find the chin. I think that's where he's going to shine in this one. He's going to be faster. He's slicker. Dariush gets hit. I mean, he just does. So, yeah, man, if Charles wants to win, I could see him finding the knockout here. Beneil, the other thing that scares me on his side is he doesn't really have a finish in his last 3 fights against Tony Ferguson, Diego Fajeda, and Mateusz Gamrot, whereas Charles' last 3 wins, he's finished everybody, and he's done it against higher competition. So the last thing for Charles, where's his head at mentally? After going on this run, everybody's calling you maybe the lightweight GOAT. You've beat everybody they've put in front of you. You're finishing everybody, and then you kind of get, I don't want to say embarrassed, but you kind of get dominated by Islam Makhachev, which, not really any sweat off your back. Islam is that guy at 155. So you just think, after the career he's had, the ups and downs, you just hope he's not back on a down here after coming off that loss to Islam, because Dariush is going to be a tough test for anybody in the division, let alone Oliveira. So I'm sticking with Beneil here. I'm going with him.
All right, that's the dinner bet.
Yeah.
I will say Beneil's body kick could be a big factor in this one, because it's southpaw and orthodox, so that body kick is going to be there. And he's got a wicked body kick. I was watching film today, and that thing smacks in there. And then, of course, that left hand that he just cracks people with out of nowhere. So that's the thing that scares me the most, is like Charles' striking defense. There's a lot of holes there, and he could capitalize on it. And he can't just lay on his back, because Beneil can go to the ground. So that's the real hesitancy with me. But that's the dinner bet. I'll take you up on it. And,
could be high level though. I mean, this could be one of the highest level grappling matches we see this year.
Yeah, I just hope. I hope at some point it hits the ground where neither guy is like concussed, or like had just gotten cracked, so we can like actually see that, because those scrambling exchanges with Gamrot that Beneil was having were like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how good Charles is on the ground. If somebody catches someone on the ground, I'll be surprised, because both guys are super good. But Charles has been submitted before, so it is definitely there.